Here's something most people never tell you. A garment can come out of the washing machine completely clean by every visible measure, smell fine the moment it hits the dryer, and still betray you 3 hours later when your body heat rises and that trapped odor reactivates right there on your skin. That's not your imagination, and it's not a sign you did the laundry wrong. It's chemistry. Odor molecules can bond to fabric fibers in ways a regular wash cycle simply doesn't reach, especially in synthetic blends and anything that's been folded away for a while. Once you understand that, the whole odor problem stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling solvable. So today on Golden Melanin Luxuries, we're breaking down 8 genuinely effective ways to pull those stubborn smells out of your clothes for good, and a few of these are going to surprise you. Let's get into it. Number 1. Understand what kind of odor you're actually dealing with, because that changes everything. Most odor advice fails because it treats every smell the same way, and that's a mistake. A musty mildew smell from a garment that sat folded in a drawer is caused by mold spores and moisture. Body odor trapped in the underarm area is bacterial. Smoke odor clings to the outer fibers of fabric rather than soaking in. Detergent buildup smell, that slightly sour scent you sometimes get even on freshly washed clothes, comes from residue coating the fibers instead of rinsing clean. Here's why this matters. If you use a heat-based method on a smoke smell, you can actually set it deeper into the fabric instead of lifting it out. If you use a fragrance-masking product on bacterial odor, you're covering the smell instead of eliminating the bacteria causing it, which means it comes right back the next time you sweat. Before you treat anything, take 30 seconds to really smell the garment and figure out where the odor is concentrated and what it reminds you of. Musty and damp usually means mildew. Sharp and stale usually means bacteria. A lingering outdoor or campfire scent means smoke has settled into the weave. This one habit alone will save you from wasting time on methods that were never going to work for that particular smell in the first place. Number 2. Wash with an enzyme-based detergent instead of your regular one, and use cold water more often than you think. This is where a lot of people go wrong without realizing it. Heat feels like it should be more effective, but for odor removal, it can actually work against you. Heat can set certain protein-based odors deeper into fabric rather than releasing them. What you want instead is an enzyme-based detergent. These detergents contain biological enzymes specifically designed to break down protein, oil, and bacteria at a molecular level rather than just washing them off the surface. Look for labels that say enzyme, bio, or odor eliminating on the bottle. Wash in cold or lukewarm water unless the care label specifically calls for hot, and give the garment a full cycle rather than a quick wash, since enzymes need time to actually work on the fabric. If a smell survives one wash, don't automatically assume the garment is ruined. Run it through a second cycle before you give up, because sometimes one pass loosens the odor and the second pass finishes the job. And here's a small but important note for those of us with more delicate wardrobes. Enzyme detergents are gentle enough for most fabrics, but always check whether a piece is meant for hand washing before you toss it in the machine, since a beautiful blouse is not worth risking over a smell that steam or a soak could have handled just as well. Number 3. Bring white vinegar into your laundry routine because it does something your detergent alone cannot. White vinegar has a reputation as an old-school trick, but there's real science behind why it works so well. Vinegar is mildly acidic, and that acidity helps break down the alkaline residue left behind by detergent, body oils, and bacteria, essentially resetting the fabric instead of just masking what's sitting on top of it. Add about half a cup of white vinegar to your rinse cycle, not the wash cycle, since adding it too early can interact with the detergent and reduce its effectiveness. For a garment with a particularly stubborn odor, you can also soak it in a mixture of 1 part white vinegar to 4 parts cool water for 30 minutes before washing as usual. Don't worry about the vinegar smell lingering. It evaporates completely as the garment dries and takes the trapped odor with it rather than leaving anything behind. This method works beautifully on gym wear, undergarments, and any synthetic fabric that tends to hold on to smell no matter how many times you wash it, since synthetics trap odor-causing bacteria in their fibers far more stubbornly than natural fabrics like cotton do. Number 4. Use the steam method for anything labeled dry clean only or hand wash only, because these pieces need odor removal without the risk of damage. So many of our most elegant pieces, the silk blouses, the tailored jackets, the special occasion dresses, come with hand wash or dry clean only labels, and that can feel limiting when one of them starts to smell. This is where steam becomes your best friend. Heat and moisture together are remarkably effective at loosening odor molecules from fabric fibers without the friction or saturation of a full wash. If you have a handheld garment steamer, hang the piece on a sturdy hanger and slowly work the steamer over the entire garment, holding it a few inches from the fabric and moving steadily so you don't oversaturate one spot. Pay extra attention to the underarms, the collar, and the inner lining, since odor tends to concentrate in the areas that sit closest to skin. If you don't own a steamer, your bathroom can do the job just as well. Hang the garment on the shower rod, turn the shower on as hot as it will go, close the bathroom door, and let the room fill with steam for 15 to 20 minutes. Once you're done with either method, hang the garment somewhere with good airflow and let it dry completely before putting it back in the closet, since packing away a slightly damp garment is actually how a lot of musty odors start in the first place. Number 5. Try the baking soda method for garments where washing isn't an option, or where a full clean feels like overkill. Baking soda works differently from vinegar or detergent because it doesn't wash anything away. Instead, it absorbs odor molecules directly, pulling them out of the fabric through a natural chemical process rather than breaking them down. This makes it ideal for garments you can't easily wash, like structured blazers, coats, or anything with delicate embellishments. Lay the garment flat, sprinkle baking soda generously over the areas where odor tends to concentrate, and let it sit for at least a few hours, though overnight works even better for a stronger smell. Once the time is up, shake or brush off the powder thoroughly, and if the fabric allows it, run a lint roller or soft brush over the surface to catch any remaining residue. For a garment that needs a lighter touch, you can place it in a large sealed bag or container with an open box of baking soda for 24 hours instead of applying it directly to the fabric. This is one of the gentlest methods on this list, and it's especially useful for wool, structured pieces, or anything you're not ready to commit to a full wash or dry clean cycle for. Number 6. Don't overlook your freezer because cold temperatures kill odor-causing bacteria in a way most people never expect. This tip tends to get a reaction, but it holds up. Odor-causing bacteria thrive in warm, moist environments, which is exactly the opposite of what your freezer offers. Extreme cold slows bacterial activity dramatically and, for many strains, kills them outright, which is why this method works so well on odors that seem to come back no matter how many times you wash the garment. Place the item in a clean plastic bag, seal it tightly to keep moisture out, and leave it in the freezer overnight. In the morning, remove the garment and let it come to room temperature naturally before wearing or storing it. This method won't replace a proper wash for a heavily soiled garment, but for something that's been worn once, smells faintly of body odor, and doesn't need a full cycle, it's a remarkably effective reset. It also works well for delicate items you're hesitant to wash too frequently, since it refreshes the fabric without any water, heat, or friction at all. Number 7. Address the odor at the source by rethinking how you store your clothes, not just how you wash them. Here's something that catches a lot of people off guard. You can do everything right when it comes to washing and treating a garment, and the odor can still return within weeks if the way you're storing your clothes is working against you. Damp basements, poorly ventilated closets, and drawers packed too tightly all create the exact environment mildew and bacteria need to thrive. Fabric needs airflow to stay fresh, so avoid cramming your closet so full that clothes can't breathe between hangers. If you store off-season clothing in bins or garment bags, make sure everything is completely dry before it goes in, since even a small amount of trapped moisture can lead to a musty smell over months of storage. Cedar blocks, dried lavender sachets, or small pouches of activated charcoal placed throughout your closet and drawers do double duty, absorbing excess moisture while naturally deterring the bacteria and mildew spores that cause odor in the first place. Replace or refresh these every few months since their absorbing power does wear out over time. Think of this step less as a fix and more as protection, the kind of habit that means you spend far less time treating odors in the future because you've removed the conditions that caused them in the first place. Number 8. Know when it's time to call in a professional, because some odors genuinely need more than a home remedy. Every method on this list is genuinely effective, but there's no shame in recognizing when a garment needs professional attention, especially for pieces with real sentimental or monetary value. A deeply set smell in a vintage piece that's been improperly stored for years, a structured formal gown, or a garment with delicate beading or fabric you're afraid to experiment on are all excellent candidates for a trusted dry cleaner. Professional cleaners use solvents and techniques that reach fibers a home wash simply cannot, and for garments you truly love, that investment is worth protecting rather than risking. When you take a piece in, mention specifically that odor removal is the goal, not just a standard clean, since some cleaners offer a deeper treatment specifically for stubborn smells if you ask for it. This isn't a failure of the other 7 methods, it's simply recognizing that certain pieces deserve the most thorough option available, and that knowing the difference is part of taking real care of a wardrobe you've invested in. So there you have it. 8 genuinely effective ways to understand, treat, and prevent stubborn odors in your clothes, from figuring out what kind of smell you're dealing with, to enzyme detergents and vinegar rinses, to steam, baking soda, the freezer trick, smarter storage, and knowing when to bring in a professional. The real takeaway here is that odor removal isn't about one miracle product, it's about matching the right method to the right smell, and most of us have simply never had that explained clearly before. Try the method that fits the garment in front of you today and keep the others in your back pocket for next time. If this helped you, we'd love to have you stick around. Subscribe to Golden Melanin Luxuries for more practical style, beauty, and confidence content made specifically for Black women over 50. We're so glad you're here.